to get started, I think, Ralph, I'm going to come to you first. It would be really wonderful if you could take a moment and share for everybody in our audience an early moment of inspiration. How'd you get started on this path?
I think that my first moment of inspiration was when I was only 7 years old, and I thought I was a great, great guitar player. I was the only one thinking that, but I swear to you, I told everybody, I told my family, this is what I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be an artist. And I used to play all kinds of pieces, even classical pieces. I love rock music. I was very much into rock early on, but I started playing classical pieces like the Aranjuez concert. I mean, just crazy. But my next touch point, you know, when I realized I could be doing this, happened when I recorded an album when I was only 15 years old. I got exposed to that experience in a real recording studio. Actually, it was a very, very cool recording studio. And we just showed up and didn't know what the hell it was all about. We didn't know about the technology. We thought it was just gonna be like us rehearsing, like in the rehearsal room, and just play the songs, and we'll be done maybe in 3 hours or something like that. That was so enlightening. And that moment, I remember for the rest of the following years. During this whole path, my family moved. Actually, they moved to the United States. They moved to San Diego. I didn't stay with them, and I went solo. But it was in the back of my mind all the time, and I was doing shows, constantly touring. I became everything you can imagine: a stage manager, a tour manager, a production manager, a front house engineer, monitor engineer. So I learned about all of it. Even, you know, I even did lights for boxing matches. You know, I did anything that would keep me stay in touch with music in general and with the industry. And later on, I went to medical school. I almost finished 4 years of medical school while I was doing all of this that I'm talking about. So I would barely get any sleep. But that was the kind of commitment I had towards staying in touch with my passion. I already knew that my passion was music and technology, both of them. You know, at that point, I realized I loved the technological side of things. And I started learning about production. So that was pretty much my path. And should I keep going on, or just, maybe we can touch some other points, but that passion led me to end up being here in Full Sail and ultimately making it to LA.
Thank you, Rafa. That's fantastic. And yeah, Rafa just touched on a couple of things. We'll definitely geek out. We've got a bunch of technologists here on stage, and here we are at Full Sail, so we will for sure talk about that some. Dave, let's go to you next. Give us a moment of inspiration early on. Your path's different than Henry's, is different than Rafa's, is mine. Share a little bit of that.
You know, it's actually quite similar. The first time I ever was in a studio was not a quite nice studio, but it was big tape machine, board, all of it. And I remember going in being told, that sucked. And I went, oh God, we suck. Okay, and that was the first moment of putting it all together and realizing, oh, this is not just we're gonna have fun. This is gonna be work. But I thought it was so interesting to watch the tape machine move and see what they were doing, and that just kind of stuck with me. So after years of touring and playing and finally getting better, I felt like I wanted to be in the studio more than that. I thought being in a van is fantastic, but not as fantastic as having an apartment and, you know, all the normal things in life. So that moment kind of came back, so that's when I went to go work in studios. But it was that thing of feeling like it was magic, feeling like when it was all done and we actually did moderately decent takes, it was great. And why wouldn't you want to do that forever?
Thanks, Dave. Awesome. Henry, how about you?
You know, I've been thinking about this question and thinking about you, and you know, there are key moments throughout your life that you'll always be inspired, hopefully. So there were initial moments. I've been in music since I was in kindergarten, literally. So that's when I started. So music was always going to be there. But when I got into college and I had a chance to do an arrangement and hear this marching band performing my music. And I thought I wanted to be an educator or a band director. I love that. I said, wow, man, I want to be a writer and composer. And then the next, I think, critical moment was when the Macintosh came on the scene, and I recognized, wait a minute, I'm doing my orchestral arrangements, and I don't have to wait to go before an orchestra to hear them. And I can sit there with an 8-track tape, because all the tape I had, but I could use a sync box and have all of my MIDI gear running at the same time. It was like, that's the world. And so the moment where I recognized that I could incorporate technology into what I do as a composer and arranger, it kind of changed the world for me. And I've been doing that now for a long time.